I get asked all the time when I'm watching this fight card, how am I sweating it out? Hey Britt, do you got a chance of winning? Hey Britt, how are we doing? How are we doing? Like, are you gonna win? Are you gonna win? And there's really no way right now to be able to figure out if I'm gonna win. I've got lineups that jump up to the top at the beginning because they don't have the main event. If you have a lot of exposure to the main event, you can't really see anything on your DraftKings winning until the very end. This is a problem because it's really frustrating every time you watch this card. You can't sweat it. You have no idea how you're doing. You can think and look at it and try to figure out, do I have the optimal, like, do I have these potential optimal lineups left? All six winners, but really, there's no good way to track. What are my chances of winning if I'm going into the last fight and I have heavy exposure to one side? How much should I hedge? On a straight sports book on that fight. Betting on the underdog, betting on the favorite, whatever, in order to make it so like I had a locked in profit. So I decided to tackle this problem this week because last week I didn't play much. I only played one lineup, just goofing around, but made me inspired to do this. So I put up this code here, tracker.py, where it's just running simulations, checking the current odds because, as you know, fight odds change throughout the night. Last fight, it'll have line moves right before it, after lock. So I do need to take into account that. But I decided, like, how am I going to make it so I can track which lineups are live, which lineups are most likely to win. 3 fights left. Can I say I have a 2% chance of winning it all? Can I say that? So I put this code together. Basically, what I do is I run a simulation, run hundreds or thousands of simulations on the server, and constantly updating. So every time a new fight finishes on DraftKings, they finalize the scoring. I upload to the server those results, and then I do more simulations. So I have 2 parts. One, I run locally. I do that because DraftKings geo-blocking will let me run on AWS. I haven't tried getting around that. I don't want to deal with VPNs and everything, but I can run it locally. So I upload those results up to the server, and the server runs all the simulations. Fired up a quick EC2 instance for this, small guy, and then here's what it looks like. So this is what it looked like before the start of last week's fight card. I posted this all at dfssweat.com. This thing I ran about 100,000 simulations. Gave out the average projection over here, the win rate, how often this lineup got first place, and the expected value. Now you can see what we've been talking about before. All these lineups look unique, right? Different projections relative to each other, different win rates. They're all unique lineups at the top, so you need to get unique to get to the top. I think down here, yeah, this row is the first time we see a non-unique lineup, and there's only 2 people on it, and it's very high win rate, winning about 0.05% of the time. You keep going down, there's just a lot of unique lineups. If it's not unique, it has to have a very high win rate. The win rate here could be anywhere between 0.07% and 0.01% on all these good lineups that are up near the top with positive EV. This is already taking into account the $20 fee, entry fee. So you really get to see how there's some lineups that are unique that have very high expected value. And I only print the top 1,000, which goes all the top 1,000 out of the 24,000 entry contests were positive EV. But it's amazing to see how quickly it drops off based on this top unique lineup with a high win rate and everything below. So this week for the card, I'm going to try to get it running so we can live sweat it out, see who wins, see how I'm doing. I don't know yet if I'm going to max out these lineups, but we'll see how it's going. Take a look at this lineup that it thinks was the best lineup played. I got it right here. Didn't do well. It's only supposed to win 0.07% of the time. 0.07% of the time didn't happen. But does it look like a lineup that has a shot at winning? Well, first off, it was unique. Second off, if we look at it, Khabib, projected high scoring. Main event, Kutalaba, Tuivasa, 2 guys who had very high first round knockout chances. Great scoring. Wood, high pace. Oliveira, salary saver, who was also slight favorite early in the week. Dawoon Jung, another guy who projected high pace. This looks like a lineup that really has no spots where you don't see a potential for getting in the optimal. Very good lineup, unique. I'm not surprised at all that it was the #1 lineup. And the other interesting piece of information I found from doing this analysis, after all these runs, a lot of the 150 maxers are negative EV according to my projections. Some are positive, but many of them are negative. And if you look at their win rates, how often are they getting first place? It generally is in a range of 3% to 5% of the time. So if you're 150 maxing and you want to be a profitable player, or you just want to be a profitable player and you want to decide 150 max, that should be your target, I think. Somewhere around 4 to 5% of the time, if you're winning first place, then you're profiting. You're going to be one of the top players. There are obviously other ways to do it. If you have a very dupe-heavy lineup, you can afford to get, or you require being higher, winning 7 to 8% of the time. If you're very likely to be unique, you'll never dupe at first place. You're only winning 2% of the time. That's also fine. Payouts are very different there. But that's my analysis of what I'm doing on live tracking of DFS lineups for MMA, and I hope to have this running at dfssweat.com this weekend. Subscribe to the channel to get updates for when I post a new video, and comment down below what topics you want me to address, and I'll try to make a video about them.